Good morning. Are you all ready to sing My Soul is Welcome Here? I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. Woo! My soul is welcome here. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. Thank you for being here in the right place at the right time. I'm grateful for your presence. And just remind all of you that we're all here to just be together with each other and to love each other and to love ourselves so we can let go of any cares or concerns that we have because we're all in the consciousness of oneness and love. And then in that awareness, I ask you all to please join in with me and say, thank you, and so it is.
Beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Christina. So there's practitioners around the room, around the Zoom, holding the high watch so that we can just be here and relax and enjoy and feel the divinity. So if you will repeat after me, I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and peace.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and peace.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and joy.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and joy.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and complete health.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and complete health.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and abundance.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and abundance.
And so it is.
So it is.
I had to change roles. So, everyone, take a nice deep breath. Relaxing into this moment right here, right now. Knowing that this is the activity of God, that this is a sacred space, that Zoom is a sacred space, that we are all one here in this divinity, in this perfection, in this flow of constant love. Knowing that this service is the activity of God, that we can let go and relax and feel that palpable love, that peace which passeth all understanding. Knowing that every aspect of this service is in divine flow, that Ginger's voice is the voice of God, her hands are the hands of God as she plays the instruments. That we collectively are one and get to bask in this beautiful service, in this perfection. Knowing that Reverend Paul and Reverend Christina step aside and allow the divine to flow through. Know that Reverend Christina is that expression of the divine, that she allows the divine to flow through her, and it washes over the congregation and uplifts and uplevels. Knowing that she is one with all that is. She is God expressing itself right here, right now. Knowing that we can just feel the divine presence and enjoy it and relax into it, knowing that God has it handled. And in this knowingness, in this love, and in this peace, we say, and so it is.
Okay, we are going to sing Amazing Grace. And as you all know, I like to change things up with this song. Instead, thank God. Instead of Saved a Wretch Like Me, we'll sing Saved and Set Me Free. And let's take some deep breaths and do some Om chants in between the verses and as we get started. We'll Om 4 times. Just take a deep breath in. Hold it at the top. And breathe it out through your root chakra. We'll do it again. Root to crown. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved and set me free. I once was lost and now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Let's Om again. That's the sound of creation. Take a deep breath. You're going to breathe it in through your root and out through your crown. Om. Om. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. set me free. I once was lost, and now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. Two more times.
It's on. Tomorrow starts Passover. Tomorrow evening will be the first night of Passover. And with it, spring comes and welcomes us with sunshine and new colors, and life is infused with hope again. Jews and Christians celebrate one of their most important holidays, religious holidays, coinciding at the beginning of spring. The Jewish faith celebrates Passover, which commemorates the miraculous journey from bondage to freedom in ancient Egypt. And the Christians just celebrated Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus, a powerful reminder of the spiritual liberation derived from his sacrifice on the cross. For millions, this is a very joyous time of Thanksgiving occasion, and to be grateful for freedom and for peace. The Passover Seder is an opportunity to reflect upon and relive this flight from bondage to freedom. The story is lovingly handed down from generation to generation so that each person has a personal experience of that transformation, reliving the experience of our ancestors and knowing we are one.
As religious scientists, we already know that freedom is the true nature of each one, as a reflection of the divine and through being present and conscious of how we too have been in bondage to limiting beliefs or conditions, and through faith embodied a new thought. Passover is a reminder of how blessed we are. Various items on the traditional Seder plate help us to retell the story of Passover, and a new addition in many homes this year will be olives, as a reminder that we must all be God's bearers of peace and hope in the world.
And I brought a Seder plate in the back for you to look at, and all the items, like Bobby said, they each represent the bitterness to the sweet on the Seder plate.
So we can take a moment now to send out our prayers for peace in the world. And so it is.
So, the affirmation. Please repeat after me. I live in the present moment. I find my freedom in the present.
I live in the present moment. I find my freedom in the present.
I know the truth of my being. My truth is love.
I know the truth of my being. My truth is love.
I am whole, complete, and perfect. I have peace in my heart.
I am whole, complete, and perfect. I have peace in my heart.
I know my purpose. My purpose is to be.
I know my purpose. My purpose is to be.
In being, I am joy.
In being, I am joy.
In being, I am love.
In being, I am love.
In being, I am free.
In being, I am free.
And so it is.
Good morning, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lauren Wilkie, and clearly very excited to read this, skipping the affirmation. So, okay, guys, so we have adapted reading by our very own Reverend Christina Marie Layer, and we have an adapted reading from The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. When we are in touch with things by means of the mind of love, we do not run away or seek. That is the basis of freedom, and aimlessness then takes the place of grasping. In aimlessness, there is nothing to do, nothing to realize, no program, no agenda. Does the rose have to do something? No. The purpose of a rose is to be a rose. Your purpose is to be yourself. You don't have to run anywhere to become someone else. You are wonderful just as you are. Aimlessness, not running after things, not grasping, is the most important practice. When we remember to bring our attention to the present moment and we try our best, we can have peace in our heart, even though not everything in our mind, body, or environment is as we would like. Someone asked me, "Aren't you worried about the state of the world?" I said, what is most important is not to allow your anxiety about what happens in the world to fill your heart. If your heart is filled with anxiety, you will get sick, and you will not be able to help others. There are wars, big and small, in many places, and that recognition can cause us to lose our peace. Anxiety is the illness of our age. We worry about ourselves, our family, our friends, our work, and the state of the world. If we allow worry to fill our hearts, sooner or later we will get sick. There is tremendous suffering all over the world, but knowing this need not paralyze us. Worrying does not accomplish anything. In fact, your anxiety will only make things worse. Even though things are not as we would like, we can still be content knowing we are trying our best and will continue to do so. If we don't know how to breathe, smile, and live every moment of our life deeply, we will never be able to help anyone. The Heart Sutra says that there is nothing to attain. We don't need a purpose. We don't need a goal. Aimlessness allows us to enjoy ourselves, the blue sky, and everything that is refreshing and healing in the present moment. In aimlessness, we see that we do not lack anything, that we are already what we want to become, and our striving just comes to a halt. We are at peace in the present moment. Aimlessness and nirvana are one. Without happiness, we cannot be a refuge for others. Ask yourself, what am I waiting for to make me happy? Why am I not happy right now? The number of people who create violence is great, while the number of people who know how to create happiness is small. Every day, gives us a wonderful opportunity to be happy ourselves and to become a place of refuge for others. We don't need to become anything else. We don't need to perform a particular act. We need only to be happy in the present moment. Then we can be of service to those we love and to our whole society. The mind of love is a deep wish to cultivate understanding in ourselves in order to bring happiness to many beings. Aimlessness is realizing the happiness that is already available. I am happy in the present moment. I do not ask for anything else. I do not expect conditions that will bring about more happiness. This is the most important practice of aimlessness, of not running after things, not grasping. Without happiness, we cannot be a refuge for others. If someone asks us how long he has to practice in order to be happy, we can tell him that he can be happy right now. The practice of aimlessness is the practice of freedom.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to rise. You were only waiting for this moment to
Thank you, Ginger. One of the things I love about working with Ginger is I don't need to talk to her before service. I just give her a topic, and she runs with it, and it's always perfect. And I was thinking that we almost don't even need to be here. We just need to listen to Ginger, and we have our lesson, and we have our spiritual experience. And I mean that very sincerely. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I have to include today Bobby and Arlen in that that experience of just being in the flow, because their reading really it informed what I want to talk about today. When I realized that we're on the brink of another Passover, I know enough about Passover to know that I wanted to talk about freedom, and that's about all I know about it. But the readings were really perfect because it really caused me to stop and think and ask the question, well, what is freedom? And I'm curious if you've ever stopped to think about it. What is freedom? Because there's many different levels of freedom, right? To the ancient Jewish people, freedom was, freedom from bondage and slavery in Egypt. And it was escaping to the freedom of their own lands, right? So that was freedom. Many of us here are not in a place of physical bondage, although many people in our world today are, if they're in prison, if they're incarcerated, or they're in places of war and strife. That can be a physical prison, right? But we can be imprisoned just by our thoughts and our emotions, can't we? And we all know that. We've all experienced that at some point in our lives. So how do we escape that? How do we transition into a place of freedom? First, we need to know what we mean by freedom and what we think it is. So I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it is really transcending my limitations and my beliefs, which are of this world, really, right? My thoughts. And coming to the place of knowing in the moment the truth of who I am. And the truth of who I am is, that's the spirit, the divine, right? So to me, that's freedom. And how do I get to that place? How do I walk through my life, as Jesus said, being in the world but not of it? How do I walk through life not being caught and trapped by the circumstances and situations in my life? Because we all have situations. We all go through life with, tragedies and upsets and unhappiness. How do we walk through our life and not be trapped by that and really live the experience from a place of knowing that all is in divine order, that we are perfect, that every being that we are interacting with is the perfection of the divine as well. So, the reading today, Thich Nhat Hanh. Many of you may know him, but he was a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, and he was very well known during his lifetime, and he died a few years ago. I think maybe even last year. He was sick for a while, and then he finally passed away. He was in his mid-90s, though, and he was a very, and still is, venerable and revered spiritual teacher. And he was telling us in this reading that aimlessness is a way to freedom. He actually made that statement. Now, here in our country, if I were to say to you that I think you're an aimless being, or if I say to you I think your child is aimless, you might take offense at that, right? I mean, we don't think that's a good thing, not to have purpose, not to have goals in life. But here is this exalted spiritual being saying aimlessness is the way to freedom. And it's really a door to liberation, and it's actually essential to the liberated state. Liberated meaning free from suffering, because in Buddhism, if we're free from suffering, we're liberated, and we can actually reach enlightenment, which is the state of knowing and living and being our truth, right? So, so how do we become aimless? One of the things about being here at CCL, one of the things that I love is, in religious science, Ernest Holmes created the science of mind based on universal truths that we find in all spiritual traditions and all religions. So we see that here every week. We're talking about Judaism. Arlen spoke about Christianity, about Christ, and Bobby brought in religious science. Ernest Holmes was very well versed in, the Hindu scriptures and the Buddhist sacred texts. And his teachers were also, we just started a class here this week on the mysticism of Emma Curtis Hopkins, and she truly was a mystic. She truly lived her life, and you feel it when you read her writings, her original writings. You feel that she is walking in this world knowing the truth of her being. You just feel that energy. And how do we reach that state? So in those universal truths, how do I transcend, right? So if I'm in a state of upset, and it could be, I don't know, what's coming to mind are people that are people that I admire. I was once asked a question, I was in a workshop, write down 3 people that you admire, and the first one came to mind was Nelson Mandela. I truly admire that man. He was incarcerated for 26 years, and he was a rebel, and he was fighting for freedom in his country, and he was incarcerated for 26 years, and I've never read his book, but I can imagine that he probably was infused with a lot of very intense feelings about the state of his country and his own situation and his family. He came out of prison a changed man, right? He transcended or became aimless, and he went on to become the president of the South African Republic. How did he do that, right? Because he went within, right? I think of another person, Viktor Frankl. He was incarcerated in Germany during World War II and endured very harsh conditions himself, and he observed that in other people as well. And he went on to write a book called Man's Search for Meaning, and he created I guess it's a psychological way of dealing with life, a way of, for psychologists, I don't know, Holly might know more than me, it's not my field, but a way of sort of dealing with adverse circumstances in one's life. And you can't get more adverse than being in a concentration camp, right? So, every tradition and every life circumstance can really point us to how we can find freedom in our own life. And where does that freedom lie? Going back to the reading, and also Bobby's reading and Arlen's reading, it's really the spirit. We're all one, right? And that oneness is within ourselves. So if I'm aimless, if I truly have no goals in my life, and that doesn't mean in the secular way that I don't want to have a career or, I don't want to help somebody else or whatever, but if I can be open to spirit and what's flowing through my life, the inspiration, the divine inspiration, I can find freedom, right? Ernest Holmes himself experienced that. It was later on in his life, and his brother Fenwick wrote about him having a mystical experience. And, he was somebody who, he studied and he learned and he wrote and he spoke throughout his life. And he was a very gifted speaker. If you ever listen to his speeches, they're still available. But late in his life, he actually had a mystical experience, and his brother referred to it as being open at the top. And he really, I don't know how he would have expressed it at the time, but we would say he experienced God as himself, not within himself, but as himself, right? And that's freedom. That's freedom. Because once you know the truth of your being, you're not subject to the vagaries of the human world anymore, right? And, I referred to Ginger and also, our 2 lovely readers over here, Bobby and Arlen, they were open at the top all week, creating these readings and selecting this beautiful music and bringing it to us. They were open at the top, listening to divine guidance, because we're all talking about freedom. So as I set an intention last week to talk about freedom today, they had the same intention, right? And that's all we needed. It all flowed from there, right? So going back to aimlessness, how do I become aimless in the Buddhist sense of the word? How do I not grasp and hold on? How do I allow spirit to move through me, right? And to inspire my life. You know, in the Tao Te Ching, often the Tao is described as a pendulum. And you know how a pendulum swings back and forth. And the place of, you know, when the pendulum is still, that's called harmonic resonance, and that's harmony, that's peace, that's love, right? And that is the vibration of the divine. Anything one way or the other is a variation off of that. And so if we were to take a pendulum on a clock, right, a grandfather clock, and just move it, it swings back and forth. And if we look at circumstances in the world or within our own life, if we try to change something and we have an intention, there's always, if something is moving, there's an equal and opposite action. So I'm moving it one way, and the pendulum goes the other way, and it swings back and forth, and it swings back and forth. And we can look at anything, like look at politics. Look at an issue that's salient in our political spectrum here in this country today. And I'm not going to mention anything specific because you can all imagine, you all know what's going on. But if you look historically, even over the last 50 years, and look at that issue and see how it's swung from one extreme to the other, it happens a lot, right? It happens in war. It happens in our personal lives as well. But if we can be in that place of peace and love and joy, in the harmonic resonance, which is where love resides, which is where the spirit is, if we can walk through the world in that place, we can be free from suffering, right? We can experience it. We know it's happening, as Thich Nhat Hanh said, but we can be free of anxiety. We can move in the world from a place of compassion and love and actually make a difference, all right? And we can be open at the top to receive divine guidance about knowing what actions to take in the world or not, just by being in that place of peace and love, right? Or aimlessness, right? So it's the difference between using our personal will. I want such and such to happen, you know, versus being open and receptive to what the divine will is that's flowing through us. And they might be the same thing, or they might not be, all right? But when we can take a moment and just breathe and just feel that divine energy flowing through us, we can always know the right thing to do. And oftentimes it's just to be, right? We said in the affirmation, just being. And in the reading, we can just be the truth of who we are. And in that, we can really change the world. Can you imagine if every being on this planet, instead of being in their conflicted mind of ego and intention and grasping, if every being can be in a place of divine love and openness and receptivity, how would we relate to each other? Would there be wars in this country? Would there be dissonance and dissension and anger and hatred? You know, it's a world that we can imagine. We can think about it and imagine it in our visioning and in our prayers, because it is possible, but certainly at this moment it's not happening. We all know that, right? So how can we, each one of us, be that peace? All right. So what's another word for aimlessness? I can think of lots of them, Surrender is a big one. Non-attachment. Anything else? Letting go. Release. Ginger clearly thought of that word. Our next song, release and let go. Empty mind. Beautiful. Yeah. Clearing our mind of intentions and allowing Spirit to move through us. All right. So that is a place of peace. How can we get there? If we're in a place of upset, how can we get to a place of peace? A place from where we can really make change in the world just by being who we are. We don't have to do anything, we can just be. How can we get there? Breathe, yes. Choose again. Beautiful. Yeah, sorry? Meditation. Yeah. Yeah. What about prayer? It's another one. Meditation is part of our prayer, our affirmative prayer, isn't it? Love. Just be in love, right? Yeah. Gratitude. Yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes when we're in a place of upset, we forget to be in those places. We forget to stop and think about gratitude or about breathing or about loving, about clearing our mind and being mindless, right? We just forget to do that, and we start to act, and then there's a reaction, and then we act again, and we're in a place of, it can be a cyclone within ourselves, right? So, our practitioner class talked about this week. How can we be in a place of presence every moment of my life? Now, that might not be possible every single moment, but how can we bring ourselves back? When we find ourselves being upset, when we find ourselves being in a place of turmoil, when we find ourselves being in a place where we know we might say something or do something that we really didn't want to do, that could be hurtful, that could create with another person, how can we bring ourselves out of it and bring ourselves into truth? Right? So all of these things we meant, stopping and breathing, right? Or clearing our mind. Press the pause button. That's a good one. You have a little button, don't you? You have an in that says, oh, an easy button. Yeah, just stopping, right? Right? And then from there can slip into that place of harmonic dissonance, that is the Tao, which is knowing the presence of God within us. And when we're in that place, no matter what's happening around us, even if we're in conflict with another person, even if we're in a situation where we feel deeply uncomfortable and at unease, we've all been in those situations. Even when we're in those places, once we center ourselves and remember the truth of our being, and we just be, then we are at peace. And that is a place of freedom. Because then we are free to choose again. And we can choose through divine inspiration. What's coming through us? We can stop, we can breathe, we can surrender, and then we can feel what's happening here. How am I being? Allowing all things to be exactly as they are. Yeah. Because here, especially in the Western world, our tendency is we always want to fix things and change things. We all do that. We do it with our children. We do it with our spouses. We do it at work. We do it everywhere. That's what we do. This is the opposite of that. This is just taking time to pause and to breathe and to allow and just be, and allow all things to be as they are. And then, if we are inspired to take action, we know it's coming from a sacred place, right? And that's freedom for ourselves, and we're spreading freedom to other people. So thank you all for listening and for joining with me in freedom.
you, Reverend Christina.
Thank you, Reverend Christina. It's beautiful. So let's take a moment and remember our oneness with all that is, oneness with the divine. Knowing that this entire congregation, all the members of this beautiful organization, CCL, are one with the divine flow. And in that divine flow, we are completely taken care of. That give us this day our daily bread, and we are completely given everything that we need. Financial abundance, emotional, spiritual abundance, love abundantly, peace abundantly. Knowing that God is our source. We can let go of any fears and doubts and limitations. Knowing that our bank accounts are filled from that space of the divine. We let go and let God. Knowing that God is the source and that we are one with that source. That we let go and let God, knowing that we are completely supported. And in this support, we give thanks. We thank the divine for all of the abundance that is ours. And there's nothing we have to do for it. Just be. And in this gratitude, I release this word into the action of the law, knowing that God always says yes. So from this place of abundance, this place of oneness, this place of the divine, we give to CCL in abundance. Knowing, as the prayer says, as I give, I do receive. In abundance. So we open up. We trust in that connection with the divine, and we give to CCL. And we receive from the universe. And so it is.
So it is. Do it after. Do it after. We'll do it after this.
Okay.
So if you follow with me in your program and read the blessing of our offering together. Thank you, God, for this abundance that is mine to share. I bless this gift and give it to thee in gratitude and joy, knowing that as I do receive.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So giving thanks for these gifts and tithes that is abundantly flowing to CCL from many different venues. Giving thanks to this congregation for opening their hearts and contributing to what we know and love is the Center for Conscious Living. Thank you, God, for this abundance that flows to us, from you, to us, and out into the world. And so it is.
And so it is.
Now, go for it.
This is how we used to do it, though, when Reverend Carol was here. The offertory used to be after the offerings, like old times.
Hey, it's all in divine right order.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all by myself. Didn't know the love of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say if you're feeling discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you just gotta let it go. Gotta let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I am only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I am only here for God. It's beautiful. The joy. I love the joy.
The joy. Love and joy, that's what we are. That's what CCL is. So I don't see anybody here new for the first time. So we're going to do the same thing we did last week. If everybody will get up, stand up, and turn to the aisle. Turn across from you. And we know this blessing. This was the blessing that said, I'm home. So if you'll repeat after me, welcome to the Center for Conscious Living. We are a heart-centered spiritual community. We open ourselves to you in love. We recognize the perfection of God within you. We celebrate the joyous being that you are. You are a radiant point of light. We are blessed by your presence. Welcome home. So it is.
Thank you all for your enthusiasm this morning. It's very joyful. I have some announcements today. Firstly, I want to thank Bobby and Arlene, sorry. Bobby and Arlen, thank you for sharing. And Arlen, there's a lovely Seder plate that she left in the back table there for our refreshments, and Bobby brought some macaroons, which are a traditional Passover food. And matzah. Yes, she brought matzah as well. So both are on the back table for us to enjoy after service today. Also, profound gratitude to Ginger for her beautiful music. We know that Ginger always brings soulful interpretations into her music, and we feel those vibrations deeply within our own consciousness, always. Let's give Ginger, Bobby, and Arland lots of love. And next Monday night, not tomorrow night, but after next week, we have our second Mini Monday event. It's called Manifest Your Dreams as an Author. So if you ever thought about publishing a book, or if you have a book and you'd like to publish it, join Esther Clark and Bobby, who is our host, on Monday, May 6th at 7 p.m. Just very quickly, many of you know Esther in our community, but she is a published children's book author, a longtime CCL member, and she is going to share her personal journey to publishing her own book. She really found her own way with this, so her journey is very interesting, and it will give us insider strategies and how we can begin our own journey into becoming a published author. Esther has a deep passion for writing, for inner joy, and for self-discovery, and she shares enthusiastically in this informative and helpful Monday event. So if you want to stimulate your own creativity and you want to bring it into manifestation as a book or another published work, join Esther, Bobby, and the rest of us here at CCL for Mini Monday next week. It is. It's a Zoom event. Thank you. It's a Zoom-only event. Yeah, 7. Is it 7 to 9 or 8:30? 7 to 8:30. All right. There will be a love offering. Yeah, thank you. So we have a call to service. Ann Blanchard, a beloved member of our community, and somebody who's been in service to us for a long time in so many ways. Her mother, Juanita, transitioned several months ago, and we're having a memorial service on May 4th, which is Saturday at 11 a.m. It will be at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Cherry Hill, and we're going to be celebrating the life of Ann's mom, and CCL is sponsoring a potluck celebration immediately after the service, really for volunteers who are interested to step up and bring the potluck to serve that community as a way of giving thanks to Ann for all she has done for us. For those of you who may not know, Ann has graciously provided her home as a residence for Reverend Catherine and Wayne during their time here in New Jersey over the past few years. And CCL has held many workshops, classes, and events in her home. So Ann has been very gracious and loving to our community. So this is a way that we can give back. If you'd like to participate and join in this call to service, the person to contact is Kathy Miller. So you can find her contact information in the CCL newsletter, which comes in every week. Contact Kathy directly, or you can always call the CCL office as well. There's a sign up on the back, and there's also a donation opportunity. So if you check your newsletter, there is a donation button as well. Okay, we have a new event coming up. So we're calling a save the date right now for Friday, June 28th through Sunday, June 30th. A spiritual teacher who is a teacher of mine, actually. Her name is Helen Hamilton, and she is coming to CCL from the UK for a full weekend mini retreat. So I invite you all to take part in that. Helen is an awakened being, and she's also just a regular person like you and I. She's a mother of 4, and she really found her own way to awakening through lots of trial and error over many years, and she now teaches others how she's really tries to simplify it for other people, for all of us. So she speaks from her own direct experience of truth, and she uses meditation, contemplation, and self-inquiry, which gently leads us to our own recognition of truth. She teaches a simple, practical, step-by-step method to transcend our mind and fully awaken to our true self. So that just happens to be what we were talking about today, to reach freedom, right? So Helen's teachings help us to overcome challenges along the path to freedom to reach lasting peace. She teaches worldwide, holds regular satsangs and other events, and we are very blessed and fortunate that she is coming here for this weekend. So you can watch her newsletter for more information about that. There will be registration links up in the newsletter this coming week. So just briefly, the CCL calendar, which is also in your newsletter. We have the Course in Miracles study group tomorrow night. And next Sunday, we have Pachamama ceremony for Earth Day with Supriya. All right, so, and Norman will be here. Norman Taylor will be providing the music. And Adrienne Hunter will be here with Reverend Al's grandfather drum. She is the keeper of the drum. So it'll be a nice celebration service for Earth. Just going back to Juanita Blanchard's memorial service on May 4th, Reverend Carol Lawson will be officiating at that service. So she'll be back in New Jersey live with us. So the next day, May 5th, she'll actually be giving the talk here at service. So I invite you all to be here for that. That'll be a fun day. Just a reminder that Reverend Catherine provides noonday prayer Tuesday through Friday, 12 to 1 p.m. So if you have any situations or issues where you're really looking for that connection of the divine that we were talking about today, coming back to peace and love and truth, that's one way to do it, is join with Reverend Catherine in prayer at her midday prayer sessions. And a last-minute event that just came in today, but there's an event today, a Green Faith Circle. So Marty let us know that it's at the Burlington County Earth Fair at the Smithville Mansion in West Hampton or East Hampton? It's East Hampton. This event, it's running today 11 to 4, and this event is an opportunity for us to share how our Green Faith Circle is making a difference in our lives, and also as we connect with. It's an opportunity for us to learn what other folks who share our concerns for the environment are doing. The family event, and Mark Levin is the lead person at CCL's booth there, and CCL, I believe, is a founding member of the Green Faith Initiative, so please go and join Marty there today. Oh, June will be there. So it's a beautiful day to be out, too. CCL's table is in the Preservation Tent Area 4, and contact June for more information, or you can also call Marty 6266-7331. And then another item is Holly graciously offered to sell a table at the Morristown Community Day. So that's June 1st. And if you've never been to Morristown Community Day, it's a wonderful celebration. Lots of artists and all kinds of booths and tables and music and food. And it's really a fun day for families and for all of us to be there. So CCL will be there. And it's another call for volunteers for service. If you're interested in participating, there is a sign-up sheet in the back. And you can always speak to Holly. And thank you, Holly, for your generosity. And just quickly, notes from our Stewardship Council. Last Sunday, we had our annual meeting, and the notes are in your newsletter from this week, but just very quickly, yours truly, me, I've been endorsed as the new senior minister in transition, so thank you. Thank you, and I'm starting to get used to having the attention on myself. Something new for me. But also 2 new board members have joined the Stewardship Council, myself, and also Lauren Welke over here. So thank you, Lauren. We also reviewed the 2023 annual budget and endorsed the 2024 annual budget. CCL endorsed Holly Myers' kindness declaration. So that is now a declaration of how we all here at CCL aspire to behave in the world, the way we treat each other, the way we treat everyone in the world, just with kindness, just simple kindness. Please sign the document, right? So the kindness declaration was co-created by Holly and also in collaboration with Reverend Catherine McClelland. Okay, so it is now an official CCL document as well. We affirmed and committed that kindness is a quality that we infuse into all of our interactions and relationships. Just another note that was discussed at the meeting last week, our media team will continue to improve our Zoom presence, and through our ongoing commitment to social media, we will continue to expand CCL's visibility in the greater community. The Stewardship Council wants to thank Reverend Catherine and the ministerial team, the members of the Stewardship Council, the members of the media team, and all members of CCL for contributing to the success of the annual meeting and also contributing to CCL as a community. So thank you all. You can watch the recording at, check your newsletter. There is a link to watch the recording if you missed the meeting. And there's also a Stewardship Council report at the bottom of the newsletter if you'd like more information about that. Thank you.
There's some people I'd like to thank. Obviously, Ginger for her music. John for media team. Keith for media team. Who I didn't see who did the altar. Who did? Kay, of course. Sorry, Kay. Kay Becknell did the beautiful altar and as ushering. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lauren Wilkie for peace. Bob for setting up virtually everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jane for help for setting up also. Refreshments. Peggy, thank you, thank you, thank you. It truly does take a village. Did I miss anybody?
I would just like to say thank you to Keith, who's always waiting by the door and helps me drag in my keyboard every Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you,
It's a blessing.
And if you want greens, Keith's got them. Mm-hmm. So let's circle up.
All right, here we go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be. With God as our power, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
as we move today from this service back into our regular lives, we take that peace with us. We take that joy that is in our heart, that love that we feel for ourselves, for each other, that beautiful oneness that emanates from Spirit, moving in, around, through us. We take it with us into our lives, into all of our interactions. We know that it expresses as kindness with all others with whom we interact. It expresses as joy. It is the love that is our truth. And in that knowing of this love, this truth, this peace, this harmony, this kindness and this oneness, in the recognition of all that, we experience our freedom. And as we are free, we know we are perfect. And in this perfection, please join with me in saying, thank you, God, and so it is.
Here we go. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. If you'll repeat after me, something wonderful is happening to me right now. Something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life.